I am at a loss with trying to make things work with the girl I'm in love with, and I don't know what to do. This is a long post, so bear with me, all. So, for a little bit of context, my girlfriend/friend/situationship and I have been together before. Last year we met in February via Snapchat quick ads, and she only lived 15 minutes away from me. At the time, neither of us had our licenses, so we had to rely on our parents to get us from point A to B. Now, with that being said, we ended up briefly breaking up in October because there was incidents that kind of made me a tad bit like controlling to a degree. More so just, I lost a bit of trust over a situation that wasn't really that big of a deal, but because of my love for her it was. Anywho, we stayed talking until February of 2024, and there were constant situations where she'd be talking to other guys. And my problem wasn't that she was, it was the fact that she lied to me about it and continued to try and keep me in her life. There was an incident where she told me she was getting food with her mom, and by pure coincidence I ran into her with another guy while Christmas shopping with my family. There was also multiple cases where she'd say she wanted nothing to do with me anymore, and then block me everywhere only to unblock me later. So come February, I was already mentally drained by the emotional roller coaster she had put me on from November-January, and she finally started to come around to wanting to try and work stuff out with me. But I couldn't give that kind of love to her at the time, so I was kind of prone to love. There was another situation where my insecurities were kind of shining through, and she had enough and blocked me everywhere. I found out later that an old talking stage reached out to her like a day later, and they started talking. They ended up dating and breaking up in July-ish, and by July I couldn't help myself from texting her once more, and conveniently it was around the time of her breakup. So we started talking, just kind of going over what we'd missed, how life had been, the run-of-the-mill catching up stuff. We just agreed to remain at a friendly basis and talk every now and then. That started turning into talking every day, and then before she left for her vacation on a flight, she told me she loved me, and that started to spark our flame again. Unfortunately, during this time, because of how messy both our first breakup and cutting contact had been, her parents kinda hated me. And that's something I did to myself, unfortunately. So we had to keep us talking a secret. So our romance began to bloom again, and we apologized and forgave each other for all the bullshit we did to each other. There was a clear level of growing between the both of us, and she was finally starting to treat me better. Now, of course, we'd argue every now and then, and the occasional impulsive thing or two would be said. More so by her, but we'd apologize, forgive, and move on. So recently, as in the last month, she finally told her mom that we'd been talking again. At first, her mom was iffy and told her to be careful. And then the next day, she found us sleeping on FaceTime together and basically told her to stop talking to me. At first, this discouraged her, and she immediately started having doubts, stopped trying to fix our situation, and seemed to be giving up. After a breakthrough, she told me that I want you in my life. But the pressure from my mom is taking a mental toll on me. So we stuck together and continued talking. Keep in mind, we had seen each other a few times at this point. So we were pretty good, and the long-term goal was to get both of our licenses and meet up at a restaurant. I got mine and she is close to getting hers. Now there has been an underlying issue, and I understand that it isn't my place to talk about, but every time she starts ovulating, PMSing, and is in her period, she immediately starts talking about how we shouldn't talk anymore, and she's sick of hiding it from her parents. Well, fast forward to Friday, she had been PMSing for quite a bit, and I decided to order her a necklace with my initial. I thought it was discreet, like she had said if I ever got her a necklace, but it wasn't. And I ordered it wrong, unfortunately, and she felt like I didn't know her because of this. We argued a bit, apologized, and then she called me and told me she couldn't sleep without me on the phone. We woke up, called each other before she went to school, and she was just being very mean. I asked her to stop being so negative, or whatever, and she calmed down for a minute. Then she told me to tell her about the rabbit hole I was writing about. I told her it was long, and she said the last thing she wanted to do was listen to me ramble. So I said something along the lines of, how is it fair that any time I want to talk about something random, you roll your eyes, ignore me, or cut me off, but when you want to talk about how Sally didn't like Susie's dress, I listen to the whole thing every time. Of course, I was being dramatic, as the issue had only been for that time frame. She hung up, and we started arguing about how it takes a lot for her to open up, and that I was gonna get the version everyone else gets. Since you want to make fun of me, I said the same thing back, and then she stopped over my house to leave me a treat as a means of saying sorry, but it was gone when I went outside. This was her way of trying to fix things. This then avalanched into, I don't think we should talk anymore. I feel like you aren't my love interest anymore, and I can't keep hiding this from my parents. When we met at the restaurant, what was gonna be my closure? Yet she wanted to get matching necklaces, couples costumes, and a bunch of other future stuff. She didn't block me on Snap, so I tried to add her and she added me back and she said, "Can I help you?" To which I responded, "I know you hate me and everything, but..." And she cut me off and said, "It hasn't even been 5 minutes, and that comment made me want to KMS as like a joke." And I responded with, "Just let me be dramatic and sad lol." Then she said, "Not this time bud, bye," and blocked me. Like I said, she is never like this when she isn't on her time or the month. Ever. She even tells me how embarrassing it is that she acts like this. It's just like if that was her plan with the whole restaurant closure thing, what was the purpose of all the other stuff? 'Cause she bought me a necklace too. I'm just worried that this isn't like the other times where it's a block for a little bit, and then an unblock, and that it's like last time where she'll keep me blocked until she decides to stalk my socials after a few months. I just don't know what to do. Should I let her be and let her reach out to me, or wait for her to unblock me? Should I maybe try to ease the tension by maybe buying her some chocolates and a stuffed animal, or what should I do? Because she's my best friend and I love her more than I can physically put into words, and I don't want to lose her again. And I've had my issues with bringing up past stuff, and I know that's overwhelmed her, but I can't lose her, and what to do, cause as of now I have zero contact with her. I know how she feels about me, just very confused. I'm at such a loss.